So let's, I guess, get started here. I mean, the first thing would like to go over is how did you guys first hear about AgentWeb?
So Arch was part of the same interview session and was published in the same magazine that Fang Fang was in the innovation publication, right? So he had shared with me his interview with the editor, and there was an article about Fang Fang and her interview, and I really loved what she had to offer. And we were looking for a marketing partner since we had not done any marketing whatsoever for our platform. And I reached out to her, and that's how we got together. And I loved the story that you all had to present.
Awesome, awesome. And so I guess maybe piggybacking off of that, like, what made you decide, I guess, from that we'd be the right partner? Was it just kind of the story you had heard from Fang Fang and how that would have helped you guys kind of get to market here?
Yeah, I think there were three things, right? If I look back and kind of say, okay, what actually tipped the scale, we were looking for other partners as well, right? So we were looking at other traditional marketing organizations and such. What really attracted both, my partner and I is you were a startup. You were hungry. I think you were doing something very innovative. Number B, and number two. And the third thing is you had the passion to make things right in the marketing area, right? I think that was very important to us because, I myself have, almost very minimal marketing experience. And so what I was looking for is a use of AI, because we are an AI organization, and how AI can actually help, achieve the marketing goals that all these traditional organizations couldn't do that, right? And so that was really one of the things. Those were the three things, actually, in my mind, that tipped the scale towards AgentWeb.
That makes a lot of sense. And so as you were, I guess, putting us up against maybe some more traditional marketing agencies, like holistically, like what was, your biggest worry with respect to maybe using marketing agencies that made you decide maybe not to go with them?
So I have a 25 years love-hate relationship with marketing agencies, and what my opinion of the traditional marketing agencies is that they traditionally don't achieve the goals that you have set out for themselves, right? And it costs a lot of money. And most marketing agencies are not as innovative as what I found with working with your team, right? But that was the initial fear of not going with those organizations, is A, cost, and B, my personal track record was not that great.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I mean, I guess going into maybe like the actual partnership that we've been, cultivating here, what was like the moment like that you realized that the campaigns were working? Like, how did that feeling feel, I guess, when you saw maybe the high click-through rates we were able to post for you guys and all the traffic we were sending to the site?
Yeah. Great question. And what really tipped the scale for us is that, like you mentioned, not just the traffic that we got. We are a B2B organization, and our subject matter is kind of heavy, right? It's not a consumer product. It's not something, very attractive to the general audience, right? And so what really helped is that you were able to, right? AgentWeb was able to attract the right level of individuals, right, and experts that understood our platform and our need, and the needs that they had for the platform, and that really kind of just tipped the scale for us. The other thing that I really loved about working with you is that when we did encounter issues with the system, or traffic not the right traffic not getting to our site and such, you were able to pretty much turn on the dime and fix it, right, and fix it correctly. And it goes back to the startup mentality that you and I both have as an organization, is to be able to, truly be consumer focused, or customer focused, I should say, right? And fix the issues. That the issues will happen. That's a given, right? It will, there has never been an organization that I have worked for that didn't happen, where it didn't happen, but how to fix it, how to quickly fix it is the key to success, in my opinion.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And going, I guess, more double clicking on that, those moments, I guess, where things weren't working, right? Like, how did AgentWeb respond, when, for example, like Book a Demo wasn't, giving us the conversion rates that we would have liked, right? What did AgentWeb do, I guess, to turn on the dime there?
Yeah, I think the first and foremost was that we didn't even know that it wasn't working, right? We, as Thrive 360 AI, didn't know that it was working. It was you who found out, and you were proactive, first and foremost, right? You actually reached out to us and said, look, this is not working. We got to fix it, but you notified that, first and foremost. Second, you dropped everything else that was going on, right, for us, and they solved the problem right away, right? And we immediately saw the results of your fix that actually were made, so that the traffic basically, we got the right results and the outcomes that was desired, right? I think that was the key, because dropping everything and being very focused and getting it done in a timely manner, so that we didn't waste time and energy, right? And obviously dollars, was key to actually, getting it done right.
That makes a lot of sense. And I guess, stepping forward here to maybe more of our current partnership, right? We've pivoted, I guess, more into also community building as well. What stood out to you, I guess, in that decision making to make that pivot?
A couple of different things. One is, it goes back to the previous conversation, where we were able to attract the right audiences, right? And you were truly smart, and smarter than we were in many cases, where you actually proposed several solutions to attract the right audiences, right? So that we could experiment and we could see the results in near real time, actually, to be able to say, yes, this is also a market that we should be focused on, and we achieved the right results around that.
Got it. That makes a lot of sense. And, thinking more like long term in terms of like impact, what difference has this really made for your growth strategy on the sort of end-to-end side? Like, how, pre-AgentWeb, you had a certain strategy in mind. Now that we've been working together for a few months, the strategy has evolved. Like, what difference has this made, I guess, for your strategy?
Well, I think the main difference is really in customer acquisition, right? Because at the end of the day, you can have the best platform, but if you cannot attract the right customers and audiences, then all bets are off, right? We are able to actually attract and have meaningful conversations with therapist organizations, clinics, big and small, community centers, and others, in our case, where they actually understand, and we are in conversations where we are becoming clients and customers and relationships and such, right? So I think that is really been very that's been the success, if you will, of us working for the last few months now.
That makes a lot of sense. And why did, I guess, you make that decision to decide to continue to work with AgentWeb long term? After our 3-month engagement was on, you guys decided that you wanted to continue working with us, right? So like, what made you make that decision?
I think the number one was result, right? That we achieved the right results, the right metrics, right? Number two was your ability to incorporate and continuously build out the platform on your end, right? We started with, one specific use case, if you will, but then we evolved into multiple different use cases. And now, and your roadmap is such that, we can pretty much consume everything that you're going to build in the near future, right? So I think that's the reason why we made the decision to stick with you guys and be a true partner in your growth as well as our growth, right? Because if you are successful, you're going to be successful, and vice versa.
Of course, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And then the last one here, I guess, it's more of a recommendation. What would you tell another founder, either in digital health or just like a lean budgeted startup, about working with AgentWeb? Like, what has that experience been like?
Yeah, I go back to my first comment, right, which was AgentWeb and the team at AgentWeb, including yourself, Harsha, has been phenomenal, right? You are customer focused. You understand. You take time and appreciate the need that small organizations and startups like us have, and you are able to pivot and modify your approach in working with organizations like us to be able to make us successful. Because ultimately, what you are focused on is making us successful so that you can be more successful as well, right? So I think that's really the name of the game here. And my advice to any organization that is looking at AgentWeb is to be able to look at you and say you are the true partner, because you have been able to achieve the goals that other organizations like us have achieved, right?
Great. Thank you so much, honestly, for all of the kind words there. It's been a pleasure working with you guys, so far, and really excited to continue to support Cora from our end as well.
Great. Thank you. Again, thanks for being a great partner.